Yep, hello everybody. Rob here in Bakersfield, California, on the Softail Bar Hopper, and welcome to this week's Throwback Thursday. We started off with a little bit of a tunnel rev under the bridge, overpass. This week's episode is going to be Choke 'em, Don't Smoke 'em. I was working out of Central Division, a day watch, and this was right after coming back to work from back surgery, and I hadn't really been tested in the field yet as to how good the back surgery went or not. Get a radio call to cover another unit on a 459 in progress, which is a burglary. I head over there, show up at the house, meet the other officer out front, and he tells me that he got a radio call to respond to a burglary there, and the woman that lives there is off to work. So the call came from the manager of the apartment complex, who says there's not supposed to be anybody else living in that apartment but that woman. And he had gone up to the house and saw a black guy inside there, knocked on the door and tried to get his attention, and the guy apparently just flipped him off and cussed him out and told him to go away. And he was waiting for a backup officer before we could go over there and kick the door in and find out what the hell the guy's deal was. While we're standing there talking, the suspect comes walking out of the apartment complex, looks and sees us. The officer that I'm covering points at him and says, "Well, there he is right there." So I start walking towards the guy and I say, "Hey, you, come here, I want to talk to you for a minute." He turns and looks at me and flips me off and says, "F you." So I continue walking toward him and I say, "Hey," I said, "come here, I want to talk to you." He stops, turns around and faces me. I'm continuing to walk towards him. And as I get closer to him, he balls his right hand up into a fist and takes it back like he's going to take a swing at me. So I step right into him, hit him in the shoulder with my left hand, knocking him off balance, and as I do that, I slide my left arm around his neck, put him into a chokehold, and rendered him unconscious. Laid him out on the ground and handcuffed him, and then brought him to. Now I was all excited and happy because that was the first time I had to do anything physical since having 2 discs repaired to my lower back and fighting with the attorneys and the doctors to let me go back on patrol. And I was really worried I wasn't going to be able to do it anymore. So that was a little test there that I passed. So anyways, I get the guy up, put him in the back seat of my car. He don't want to talk to me. So I'm figuring, okay, we've got the apartment manager says that no guys live in that apartment. He's inside the apartment and won't talk to us and then tries to split. The only other thing we could do would be to call the woman at work, find out if he's got permission to be there, which I was thinking about doing. But then the fact that he balled his hand up into a fist and took it back like he was going to take a swing at me, I figured, well, he's going to be under arrest anyways for that. So we're trying to figure out, okay, well, how can we get the woman's phone number, contact her, find out if he has permission to be in there. And of course, he's in the back seat still cussing and yelling and threatening to sue us for false arrest and everything. And he still really won't talk to us or answer us any of our questions as to what he's doing there and if he had permission to be there and all that kind of stuff. He's just being an asshole. Well, the apartment manager shows up and he's got the number of the girl, so we would be able to call her and find out if the guy had permission to be in the house or the apartment. But then the apartment manager starts telling us the story that Well, she's the only one that's on the lease. And this guy's been living there for about a week with her. And he's not supposed to be in there, and he's tried to tell him to get out several times, and he just cusses him out and won't leave. And he's a disruption to the apartment complex. Well, I tell him, well, that's a civil matter. That's not a criminal matter. That's not a burglary. You know, he's living there with her. Okay, you know, he's not on the lease. You either got to get him on the lease or, you know, file the papers to have him evicted. So, if it hadn't been for the fact that he balled his fist up and tried to take a swing at me, it would have been all over with and he would have been released. But hell no, he was going to jail for that. So, since he had been told to leave and that he was not allowed to be there, I had the apartment manager place him under arrest for trespassing. And I arrested him for attempting to assault a police officer, and I took him off to jail. Well, a few months roll around. We show up at court. He's standing there with his lawyer and looks down, sees me sitting there on the bench outside the courtroom waiting my turn. And he's telling the story, and she's reading the report that I filed. And she goes and looks at me, and I just smile. And she goes, well, the best thing you could do is plead guilty to a lesser crime if they offer it to you. Because that was pretty stupid of you to ball your fist up, or your hand up into a fist and try to take a swing at that officer. At that point, he had every legal right to arrest you for that. And as far as the trespassing is concerned, that'll get thrown out because your girlfriend's already been evicted anyway, so. We all go into court and they meet with the prosecutor, and of course, yeah, they do a plea bargain, and he gets charged with a misdemeanor. I think it was disturbing the peace is what he finally got charged with. I never had to testify or nothing. Walked out of the courtroom together. He gave me a dirty look and I just smiled at him and walked away. So that's my little story about my first test of the back surgery and how well it went. And it did do pretty good. Of course, over the next couple of years, I'd end up injuring my back again and eventually end up being forced into retirement by the city. So I hope you liked my little story. If you did, hit the like button, give me some comments. Come on back next Thursday for another story. This is Rob on the Softail in Bakersfield. Signing off. See you later. Bye-bye.